Welcome to the Views Unfolded podcast, episode 9. Today, I'm back here with my friend Diana from the Diary of D as we talk about friendship.
Thanks for having me. So excited to be back.
So, today's theme is about friendship. What is friendship? And how much can we expect from our friends? What should we expect? What can we not expect? And where do we draw the lines? Sometimes I feel like friendships are more complicated than romantic relationships.
Yeah,
Because from a man, if you're interested in men, from a man, you can expect that, oh, he's either interested or he's not. It's either going to work out or it's not going to work out. And with friendships, there's so much more at play because we tend to forgive so much and let so many things pass by. When a friend shows us that they're toxic,
yeah,
it's not always that we let them go.
yeah. That's so true because I saw somewhere that said that friendship breakups sometimes hurts more than romantic breakups. And I agree to a certain extent because a friend is someone you always thought you could count on, like in every situation. Friendship is supposed to be unconditional love of you genuinely supporting another person because you care about them. And it's so hurtful, or it can be very hurtful, when you have to start thinking about how you really feel about this as a person, not as your friend, and stop giving them free passes and start holding them accountable for their actions or for things they've said to you or how they made you feel in different situations. And it can be so hard to do that. And it can take years sometimes because we don't want to let go of this friend or this person that we've seen as a friend for a long time, maybe.
Yeah, the thing is, though, that friendship, I feel, is sometimes more conditional than it is unconditional. Because as soon as you don't show up for a friend the way that they expected you to show up, all of a sudden you're the bad guy. They don't usually consider that perhaps you also have stuff going on in your life, and maybe you showed up 100 times before when you had worse things going on in your life, but this one time you didn't show up, it was the end of the world because they expected you to always be there. And on the other hand, it's not like they take a look in the mirror and see themselves for how many times they've actually been there for us, which is maybe 50% of, or even less of how many times you've been there for someone.
That's true. And it's also like we are expected to give them the benefit of the doubt. If they turn us down or if they can't show up to an event or something like that, if we don't get a hold of them for maybe a few days and then they answer us telling us, I'm sorry, I've just been really down. Like I had some stuff going on my own or whatever. And we're supposed to give them just the benefit of the doubt. Like, I believe you, I trust you, just let me know if I can help you.
Yeah.
But sometimes when it's the opposite, you're not feeling your best. You're still trying to show up, but you have your limits also because we're just humans at the end of the day. And then you don't get even an ounce of the same, maybe kindness or the same empathy shown against you. And it really makes you question that, is this a friendship that is transactional? Do I have to give you something in order for you to give me back something? Because that's not what true, genuine friendship is about, really.
And if it was a romantic interest, you would lose interest long time ago.
Yeah,
You would not allow that into your life. If a person showed you time after time that they're not going to be there for you, they're not interested in you or your life, you would not keep going with the relationship. But with friendships, it's like this never ending cycle of, oh, maybe they will change. Maybe they didn't mean that. Of course, they care about me like how I care about them.
true.
But oftentimes, it's not. But I think sometimes that's our own fault because we open the door to people to perhaps tell us everything. And I myself, as a person, I'm that kind of friend that always digs deep and tries to find a solution for you. And I feel the feelings that you're feeling and I go through the problem with you. And then once you do that, it's like an always open door because they feel so vulnerable around you and so free of sharing their issues. And then
Yeah.
yeah, and then also when you're the one that has an issue, it's a very big change for them because they're not used to you maybe having the problem. They're used to you being the strong one. And when you're not the strong one, how are they supposed to depend on you? Then they lose the person who is dependable.
They put us in a folder of what to expect from us. But as I said, like, we're still humans. I mean, we can't live up to their expectation all the time. We still have things going on in our own life. So if they always expect us to come through for them, but then they never come through for us, you have to ask yourself that, is this person really, what is this person giving me? And it sounds selfish, but it's really not selfish, because at this point you've given so much of yourself that you can't pour from an empty cup anymore.
Yeah,
You're just draining yourself at this point.
exactly.
So that's why it can be hard to set boundaries in friendships. And it's so easy also for them to expect certain things from you, and you almost hold yourself accountable because you can feel that, but I've always done this for them before, of course they would expect it now, I can't really change it, I can't really change anything about the situation right now. But that's just not true. You can always change the situation because everything is unpredictable. Even people, even friends, even you. And if you feel that I have given too much right now in this relationship, in this friendship, I can't give anything more. I have to set my foot down and put boundaries. Do it. Because at this point, it's about you, and they will, if they are your true friend, accept that and respect that. Because that's what a real friend should do.
Exactly. And it's also once you've opened that door once and once you've been there through very hard times, they're just gonna keep coming. If you know what I mean. Like it's never just the one time. It's this constant need for your support, your advice, you being there, letting go of your immediate life and just showing up, taking that phone call, taking that time out just to respond to their message or talk to them because they're having a rough time. But
Yeah.
oftentimes they don't even stop to consider what are you going through. And
Yeah.
if we don't set that boundary and say, hey, I'm sorry, I really can't be there for you right now, but I'll be back when I'm doing better. And if you can't do that, believe me that that friend will not do that either. And I think what we're talking about right now also sounds like an emergency friend. We all know what that means.
Yeah.
What is an emergency friend?
An emergency friend is the friend that is always in distress, or not even distress, just always in an emergency. And this friend needs you personally to solve their problem urgently also. So they are always in an emergency situation, and they always need you to solve their problem. And they always make it seem that it is their last hope, their last choice, and that's why they're coming to you. So you, as a good friend, of course, want to help them. But what happens when there's a new emergency
Every
reoccurring
day.
every single day? And it's always the same urgency. It's
Yeah.
always, I need help right now.
It sounds kind of mean, but it's really not because you've been there and you are there for your friends all the time. But at some point, you're going to start realizing that their problems become your problems. If you wake up to a day where you have no issues going on in your life, finally you're at peace with yourself, and then all of a sudden, maybe one friend or two friends start calling you up with their issues. Can you help me? What do I respond to this person? How do I tackle this problem? Can you help me get to this place? Can you help me figure out this problem? All of a sudden, their problems become your world. That peace that you fought so hard for, all of a sudden, is being taken from you. And not even because something happened to you, but because something happened to someone else.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we all can be in emergency situations. We all need urgent help sometimes, but not all the time, almost every single day, or very often, to say the least. So you need to ask yourself if this person is always in the same situation, something is on their end, like something in their life needs to change. And that's why you also can't help someone who doesn't want help. Because maybe this person is so used to, if you're always fixing their issues for them, they're used to it. So why would they say no now? Because you haven't set boundaries, right?
Exactly.
So when you set a boundary, you can feel uncomfortable. You can feel almost like you're letting them down. But at the end of the day, you're not letting yourself down. You are letting them down, not yourself. And you are more important because how else are you going to live with yourself, honestly?
And I think that if we don't set these boundaries, at some point we're just gonna become the bad guy. We're gonna explode at our friend at their lowest point and maybe tell them off, like, oh, please leave me alone with this problem, or
Yeah.
oh, please, when are you gonna like grow up, or whatever? When are you gonna leave that person?
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about this anymore.
Yeah.
But to avoid that point, I think it is important to set those boundaries in time. But also, if you are the emergency friend, you should know and learn when to not overshare,
Yeah.
when to keep some things for yourself, or perhaps not burden other people with all of your overthinking thoughts or all of your issues.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I agree totally. Because you have to see your friends as people also. Even though they are friends, even though we expect our friends to always be there for us, we can't take advantage of this. If you know and that you have a problem, maybe that you have to talk to someone about it, first of all, it's always a good idea to reach out to people. Don't
Yeah,
go around overthinking stuff or, being in
absolutely.
your head too much, of course. But it's also a point where you need to recognize yourself that, am I oversharing right now? Is this person going to provide any kind of support or solution for me other than just listening to me? So I don't want to dump everything I have, all the feelings I'm feeling right now, onto them, because if you are a true friend, you would know maybe that they have something going on in their life also.
Exactly.
And sometimes, it's a smarter idea to maybe reach out to a professional. And if you reach out to a professional and maybe you don't get um, the same answer you would ask from a friend, because this friend knows you much better, maybe this friend knows your situation and everything, but sometimes you need a third party, a neutral part, to tell you, so that you get outside of your head, and that makes you also a better friend in general and a
Yeah.
person.
And also someone who has the tools, because perhaps your friend is giving you the wrong advice
Yeah.
and the problem is much deeper than you know or are aware of, or that your friend can be aware of.
Yeah.
But also, that makes me question, so, what can we expect from our friends in a friendship? How much can we expect our friends to be there? And how much of ourselves should we give to friends? Because you've probably heard it before, there's family, and then there's very close friends, and then there's friends you have fun with.
Mm.
So I think we need to categorize sometimes our friendships, and we know what people to go to for what. But if you know that you have one friend that maybe you are trauma dumping on them, or you're being unfair to them, and you know that this person has a lot of things going on in their life that you're not even aware of, and you're dumping your problems all the time on them. Maybe you should reflect
Yeah,
and ask yourself, does this friend even fit into my life, or am I just taking from this person rather than also giving as a mutual friendship?
exactly. Because sometimes it can be that, like, you have to feel the energy you have with certain people and certain friends. Because sometimes in a friendship, you don't see it for yourself, but maybe you are dragging each other down also with always repeating the old, maybe negative things to talk about, drama, gossip, and such
Yeah.
things. It's not a good friendship to build. It's not a good ground for a friendship.
Yeah, it's just
Because
feeding into bad energy.
yeah,
So you're just feeding each other negative energy, and then,
yeah. And it's like, it can be, I mean, I understand. It can be a guilty pleasure to gossip with someone, especially
yeah,
if it's someone else that you don't particularly like, or whatever. But at the end, you are the loser in this situation because you are providing negative energy and you are feeding this negative energy, talking about really unimportant things when you have this person who is your friend, who you could share ideas with, who you could share fun things with, like you could maybe plan fun things to do with this person. You could just talk in general about life's questions or whatever. You can have so
yeah,
much more high energy or good energy conversations. You can become like from something bad to something good, and sometimes some friends doesn't want that, and that's okay,
yeah,
because you have the right to change whenever you want to and let go of things that aren't good for you. If
exactly.
they are not ready, that's not your issue.
Yeah, and let go of friends that aren't good for you.
Yeah.
But how do we spot a bad friend then?
Mm.
I think for me, it's been some friendships where I realized at some point that, wait a minute, this person doesn't even know what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
This person has no clue what I'm going through, and they've spent all the time talking to me every day about their own issues,
Mm.
but they have no idea what's going on with me. They don't know where I'm living at this point.
Yeah.
Literally, like, I've had friends who I've talked to every day, and they haven't even been aware of where I'm living or who I'm living with.
Yeah.
And I mean, at that point, that's strange, because how did I get to a point where I allowed a friendship or multiple friendships in my life that don't really care about me?
Yeah.
Am I just their psychologist at this point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I understand exactly. And it's such a heartbreaking moment when you finally realize, or when you actually admit to yourself that this has been a one sided friendship,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it's so sad.
It's so sad, but better late than never.
Yeah, 100%.
So you, instead of keep giving chances, you need to just reflect and analyze of what is this person bringing to your life? What is this person, are you getting the same energy back? Like, do they care about you like you care about them? And if the answer is no, it's pretty simple, because there's really no excuse for someone to not be involved in your life if you are involved in their life. And vice versa, if they are involved in your life and you're not allowed into their life, what's happening? Maybe they have things planned, or maybe they have someone they're seeing, someone new, and they don't want to tell you. That's also like a weird sign, that's they want to keep you at an arm length distance. They don't want you too close, but they want to know everything about you. It's like a monitoring friend. They want
Yeah,
the information about you,
yeah.
but they don't want to reveal too much about themselves. And it's also back to this dynamic, that it's an unfair dynamic. It's wrong in the balance.
Maybe the first thing we should do is call them out.
Mm.
And then my question comes in there, because sometimes we're also scared to confront people.
Yeah.
And the response that we get from friends, for example, when I have tried to discuss an issue with a friend, it's always an excuse. Oh, well, you did this or you did that. And it's like every time you bring up, hey, I feel like you haven't been like giving me the same maybe attention or the same care, it's always the response of, oh, but you haven't been there. So, and
So gaslighting.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's always the gaslighting part, or it becomes a fight. And that wasn't the goal of the calling out. Maybe the goal was to prove to yourself that you're wrong and this friend is a good friend. But then they give you this response of gaslighting and
Yeah.
trying to blame you instead, or being mad over how dare you say that to me, you know that I'm going through stuff. I mean, many people have probably experienced these things.
Yeah. And it just shows that maybe that person isn't emotionally mature yet to take. I mean, it's not really, you're not looking for a fight. You're
Yeah,
just saying your emotions out loud. And if you as a person are emotionally intelligent, if you would hear your friend say this to you, you would take their concerns into regards and tell them that it wasn't my intention for you to feel this way. I've been having a lot in my life. I've been going through a lot maybe at this moment. I'm sorry you feel that way. It was absolutely not my intention, and we should maybe figure this out together. We should,
yeah,
what makes you feel this way, or how can I be more of, so that we don't miscommunicate or misunderstand each
yeah,
other. And that person that did the calling out will tell you that I'm so happy that you can hear me and that you can feel how I feel, and so
exactly.
happy that you are taking my feelings into regard. um, and of course they will feel that, I know you've been going through a lot, and you start up a dialogue, a conversation like that. So if you have someone saying it to you, you don't have to be defensive at the first moment. Take their comment to you to and listen to what they say, what they mean. And if you have the same issue where you have to do the calling out, just look for the signs in their reaction to this calling out, or to this comment that you
For
are telling
sure.
them. If they are very defensive, if they are almost like aggressive or gaslighting you from the start, I mean, that tells you what you need to know about this friend, unfortunately.
Exactly. If the response is loving, as you said, and they truly care about your feelings and maybe they've hurt you and they care about you, then that's a good friendship, I would say,
Yeah,
because you have to be open and honest to each other.
yeah.
Of course, if it doesn't happen too oftenly, then that can also be a form of gaslighting. But if it's a friend who somehow disregards your feelings and immediately starts maybe fighting you, I mean, that tells you a lot that maybe this friend isn't really your friend. But at that point, what do you do? Because it's not so easy, or I haven't done it myself ever, to just end the friendship with someone and tell them, you know what, this friendship is not going to work out. I've
Yeah.
never done that. And
Yeah.
like, is that something that a person should do?
I mean, that's so scary to do, first of all. Like, it's not easy. And as I said, like in the beginning, like sometimes a friendship breakup is more
Yeah,
hurtful than a romantic breakup, because it's true.
exactly.
But like at the end of the day, you just have to take your own health into, like, first and foremost, you have to think about your own health. You can't have a person in your life that is constantly bringing you down, being negative, or draining you, even if you call them a friend. And the sooner you cut these people out of your life, the better you will feel about yourself, but also you will start to glow up. You will not have this constant negativity or them constantly bringing you down. I mean, obviously, they have issues they need to work on with themselves, maybe. So it's not easy to cut someone out of your life,
Yeah,
especially a friend, but it's, if it's for the best, then it's for the best, really.
exactly. I think the most natural first step, if you notice that someone is being a bad friend to you or an energy thief,
Yeah.
the first step would maybe be to kind of back off. and try to just ease back from the friendship. But I say that would work in most cases because, I mean, everybody gets the hint of when someone is not so interested in continuing a relationship.
Yeah.
But in some cases, the person is so caught up in just needing you that they're so unaware of your reaction because they haven't been attentive enough to even know how you behave when you're mad or when you're backing off, because they're only there to get their advice, they're only there to get their needs met.
Yeah.
So no matter how much you back off from a friendship or no matter how much you never text them again, these friends just keep popping back up and
Yeah.
being like, hey, we haven't talked in a while. You know what happened to me? And you're like, please, I'm just trying to back off.
Trying to back off. And it just confirms what you have been feeling all along, that they really care more about what you can do for them than about you as a person. So that's when you get to the point also of they're not getting the hint. So then you have to call them out, unfortunately, and tell them. You don't have to be mean, of course. You can tell them out in a calm, easy way, just saying that I feel this and this, and I don't think we should have a break right now, maybe, or we shouldn't speak for a while, or I just need some time for myself. And they just need to respect that boundary.
Exactly. Exactly. So we have to set the boundary, as
Yeah.
you said. If the person doesn't get the hint and they keep on terrorizing you, maybe,
Yeah.
that's a rough way of putting it, but really
Yeah.
terrorizing you, perhaps every day or very oftenly, then I think you have to tell them, you know what, I'm sorry, but I really need some time for myself right now.
Yeah.
I'll text you when I've figured it out.
Yeah.
Or if the friendship is so bad that you really want to quit it, then you perhaps need to tell them, you know what, no, you know what, this friendship just isn't going to work out anymore. And I'm very sorry, but I think that we should take some distance from each other because this is not doing any good to me. And if it's not doing good to me, then it's not doing good to you either because I can't be the type of friend that you need.
Yeah. Well put.
Thank you.
And also, don't be afraid of setting boundaries. And most importantly, don't be afraid of losing people. Like, be afraid of losing yourself. Because the more you let people walk over you, the more you let these people take advantage of you or take your energy and drain, you're not even gonna recognize yourself at the end of it. You're gonna be like, how did I turn into this person? This is like, I don't even know who I am when I will look into the mirror anymore.
Exactly.
You're gonna be so disappointed in yourself. And for what, really?
Yeah.
Because you decided to please your friend. That was not worth it, was it?
No, because you keep on pleasing people and losing yourself. That's the only friend you will ever lose is yourself,
Yeah.
trying to chase other people.
Yeah. And I mean, life is long. You will meet other people that matches your energy so well. It will be so effortless. It will be so easy to talk to them. You don't have to change yourself. You don't have to, because another thing, like with some people, they feel that, okay, I have to maybe create a new persona of myself. I have to create something else to get friends, to get this, to get this. Why would you want that? Why would you not want just someone to vibe with easily?
Yeah,
And how are you going to meet these people if you're not being your true self?
exactly. And if you are that friend that's on the opposite end, who is becoming aware that maybe you are the bad friend, what should you do then? Maybe you should be self aware and take a step back from your friends who you have been craving a lot from. Maybe you should turn the table and ask them about their problems. And there you will also get your answer on, whoa, you know what? I really didn't know anything about this person, or I didn't know about anything that was going on in their life because I have been talking so much about myself. So we should also be very self aware of what type of friend are we in a friendship. what am I expecting from people and what am I giving to people?
Yeah, and it takes a lot of self-awareness to admit that to yourself also. But it's not something bad. I mean, we need to reflect to evolve. We need to reflect to become better, really. Not just with friendship, like overall in relationships and everything in your life. So if you, I mean, sometimes you can get this guilty feeling, or you can feel that, wow, really haven't been a good friend to this person right now because I've had this and this going on. Easy, honesty is the best answer. Just reach out to your friend. Just tell them, I'm so sorry I haven't been calling you. I'm so sorry I've been ignoring your messages. I'm sorry for this, but I've been having stuff going on. I'm here now. I feel better. I wonder, or I am very curious of how you have been doing. I want to know everything. I want to catch up, and that's why I'm reaching out. So I want us to have that same dialogue again. And once again, it's not easy. And depending on their response, they can be very understandable. They can also be very not understandable. Still, it's up to you if you want to keep the friendship or not. Because we all have bad days, we all have bad times. But how we come out of these bad times, it's what really matters. And a true friend always sticks by you, that you needed maybe at the moment some distance, or maybe you needed them, but you would still, like, because it's a two-way relationship.
So, really, we should evaluate all the relationships that we have in our lives, the friendships, family relationships, even evaluate ourselves and see who are we in a friendship, what friendships do we have around us, and what should we keep, what is doing good for me and what is not so good for me.
Yeah.
And from that evaluation, we become aware of the positive and negative emotions that we let into our lives and what feeds us and what drains us. And I think we can improve our life a lot by doing that.
Okay, so I want to open up a jar of something that I see unfortunately in a lot of female friendships,
Okay.
and it's the subject of jealous friends,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because, like, me growing up, my mom would always tell me that, oh, they're just jealous of you. They're just,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, why would they be jealous? What do I have that they don't have? Why would they be jealous of me?
Yeah.
And the more I grew up and the more some people acted, I just felt that, why are they not happy for me?
Mm-hmm.
I am happy for them, truly, genuinely, but I don't feel that same response back. I don't feel that same energy back. They're not, they don't care, or maybe they're not happy for you. And it gets more and more to a point where you're like, it has to be jealousy. What else could there be? And why is there jealousy?
Exactly. I'm so happy you brought this theme up because oftentimes as females, we feel like there's no reason for our friend to not be happy for us. There's no reason for them to act in a weird way when we tell them something nice or but somewhere in our gut something is telling us that this person is giving off jealousy.
Hmm.
And I think at the moment that you feel it in your gut, you don't even need the proof of it. Because I really think that sometimes you truly feel in your gut as a female when someone is jealous of you and doesn't want the best for you.
Yeah. And also, like, once again, such a sad feeling to feel.
Yeah.
Like, because female friendships can truly be so wholesome and so genuine and so nice. And then unfortunately, they can be super toxic, super
Mm.
jealousy, and super, like, negative. And it's so sad, honestly. But just the fact is, with like jealous friendships, okay, if you are a friend that feels jealous of
Mm.
your friend's success or whatever, I would think it's not like, you're not always a bad person, of course not. We're very accomplished people, but just ask yourself, why am I feeling this jealousy towards this person who is my friend? Is it because I feel like that should have been me instead, or that she doesn't deserve it, or whatever? But why are you feeling this? And why does it bother you so much? Why can't you be happy for someone else?
Yeah. And if you're on the other end and you're asking yourself, why is this person not happy for me? Or you start sensing that you don't want to share something with this person, this friend, you don't want to
Yeah.
share your successes, you want to downplay them, somewhere that tells you that you're in a dangerous territory.
Yeah.
Because someone's jealousy can really ruin things for us because you will get the wrong advice. You will get very negative feedback.
Yeah.
They will downplay your success.
Yeah. Like, unfortunately, even sometimes try to sabotage for you.
Yeah.
Like, it can happen, and you would never see it coming because you thought of this person as a friend.
Yeah. And it's because you would never do the same for that person and
Yeah.
you are truly happy for that person.
Yeah.
And I think then that's the worst thing that can happen when you think that someone cannot be jealous of you or cannot simply not want the best for you, because then you keep allowing this person in your life, waiting for them to prove over and over again why they shouldn't be in your life.
Yeah.
And then they mess things up for you.
Exactly.
People go so far as ruining your life.
Yeah.
People go so far as taking your partner, as ruining your relationships.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Insane, really. And ruining, whatever you have going on in your life. They can be jealous of you being friends with someone else. They can be jealous of you having achieved something successful or a work promotion, anything, and will try to actively ruin it or ruin your happiness at least with it.
Yeah.
Telling you that, but it's not really, is that really a big of deal? Is that really
Yeah.
something worth celebrating? What do you mean we have to
Yeah.
go out for
That's
drinks for this?
nothing. I've done more.
Yeah, so true. And that's why, pay attention to those who clap when you win,
Yes.
because it can feel exhausting to have to watch your back, but it's not really watching your back. It's just trusting your own instincts, trusting your guts and your intuition. Because if you felt that you have been super happy for this person and you don't get half of the energy back from them when something happens to you that you feel very happy about, it's just time to not let yourself be affected by their own issues. Don't let their unhappiness ruin your happiness.
Yeah. Those people clap when you lose
Yeah,
instead of clapping when you win.
exactly.
So ask yourself, who is clapping when for me? But can friends really go that far? As to the example I took, where people go so far as maybe taking your partner or ruining your relationship or threatening your happiness. What do you think?
I mean, they definitely can. Because at this point, if this person has such big issues with themselves, they almost physically can't stop themselves from doing it because they feel so bad about themselves that they have to ruin your happiness in order to feel better in their life. And it's so, like, when you say it out loud, it sounds just
Crazy.
crazy. How can this really be life? But it is
Yeah. Do you
actually
think you're so
true.
important?
Yeah.
But no, it's not even about the being so important, but sometimes it's more about that person, as you said, rather than it's about you, because they're unhappy with themselves.
Yeah.
And they cannot stand when you or whoever is around them has a better something than them. And I think that's the most dangerous kind of friend. And that is like worse than the emergency friend, because the
Yeah.
emergency friend is just draining, but this is someone who actually takes action
Yeah.
to ruin something for you.
And then they get like almost, because you would think this would motivate them instead, that they would maybe take like some lessons from, or, if you have something that they don't or that they want or whatever, it can be whatever really. You think that they take advice from you, like, oh, I'm so happy you maybe passed the test. Can you give me some study tips? Like something easy. But sometimes it can go to the lengths of that person trying to impress you instead. And all because that person is never going to stop trying to outshine you. And the only one we should be in competition with is ourselves all the
Definitely.
time. You shouldn't be in competition with someone else, especially not a friend, but anyone for that matter. So when you have this friend also that's always trying to compete with you and always trying to, vad heter det, jämföra?
Compare.
And is always trying to compare. So you tell a story, maybe they have to tell a story, but it was much better when they told the story. Or you went to a place but they went to the same place and they went to an even bigger place. Like, it's always trying to downplay you and put you down,
Yeah.
and that's not your problem really. So there's also like something to look out for, because jealousy can turn into competition, and you don't need anybody who thinks they want to compete with you. They're just trying to sabotage you then, really, in that way.
Exactly. And another example is when you have a friend who is maybe jealous career wise and they don't want to see you do better than them. So when you tell them about an issue that you have at work or a success that you have at work, they might even try to give you the wrong advice for you to take the wrong steps
Yeah.
in order for you to always be beneath them.
Yeah.
And they kind of want you to run to them and tell you about your issues, and they kind of feed off of it. And it goes a little bit into the monetizing friend that you were speaking about earlier.
You don't have to look out for anything particular. You just have to trust your gut, really. If you feel that this monitoring friend who just is digging for information, is digging for something, and you keep telling them, but you feel that, why did I even share this? Why am I oversharing right now? Because I didn't feel like telling, but they kept asking, asking,
Yeah.
asking, being curious. But then when I told them, but how about you? They just flipped the script, no, but tell me more about this, me, nothing special. It's once again, like, the dynamics is just off in this. There's something weird
For
going
sure.
on.
But then also on another note, when you are the friend who doesn't want to share anything about yourself, sometimes that's also a sign that maybe you don't feel safe with this person.
Yeah.
You don't feel like this person ever listens to you, so why would you start sharing now? Or maybe you don't feel like this person will be oh, maybe you don't feel like this person will be a loving space for you, but rather a judgmental space for you, so you just rather not talk about it.
Yeah, that's true. And everyone is entitled to their own feelings. Because if you feel that, no, but I keep sharing things, but I don't feel right in sharing some things, or I don't feel right in sharing to this person anymore the same way I used to do before, because your gut is telling you that you don't want to share anything with this person because this maybe you get some bad energy, you get some bad vibes from this. I mean, it's up to you how much you want to share,
Yeah.
really. And you should just protect your energy and
Yeah.
protect your own.
That's the thing. We think it's harmless, but it's actually very harmful.
Yeah.
When we allow ourselves to be around people who drain us, who give us negative energy, sometimes you don't even know why you're feeling down. It's because you took their energy, because energy is real.
Yeah.
So if you have someone who is constantly perhaps hating on you behind the scenes, I don't think that will bring you any good to your life. It can actually cause you a lot of distress. It can cause you a lot of bad things to happen. So I think we should also be very cautious of who we keep in our lives, because it's not always harmless. It's not always just a message or just a phone call or just a coffee date. It can actually ruin our life if we want to go that far.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because if you share things with the wrong person, you are inviting like their energy, and you are giving out your own energy of something that you are sharing. Maybe you are happy, maybe they can sense that you are really happy about this, so they feel the immediate need to drag you down or to put you back on the ground, or maybe something like that, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
So instead of instead of you still being excited about this or this new idea you have come up with, you'll just let it go and give up on it just because you got this bad feeling from them. Or you learn from it and don't share everything with everyone. And if you get called out for why you're not sharing, you can just tell them that it didn't feel right in the moment, really. And
Exactly.
I didn't feel like sharing it right now because
Mm.
nothing was set in stone. I
Mm.
haven't really, started with it. Was just an idea. I was
Mm.
just sketching or maybe, thinking about it in the beginning. But now that I feel more confident, I felt the need to share it to you.
Yes.
You decide for yourself.
You don't have to explain yourself
Yeah.
to anyone.
Yeah.
So you don't have to overshare. You don't have to
No.
tell anybody anything unless you really feel like it. And there's
Exactly.
always a reason behind why you don't want to share something.
That's so true.
So always trust your gut when it comes to friendships.
Yeah.
And when you notice that someone is not good for you, trust that it might be your gut telling you that you have to take a step back from this person and just focus on yourself. Focus on the people that you actually value and value you back
Yeah.
in your life rather than wasting your energy on people who maybe don't even deserve it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode on the Views Unfolded podcast together with the Diary of D. I hope you liked it and please share your thoughts in the comments on friendships and send us a message if you want to discuss something in the next episode. See you next week.